There are some opportunities to make money this week in the market. So, what's my game plan to take advantage of those? Well, let's dive into that right now, starting with SPY. SPY has been putting in some sideways candles through here over the last few trading days. And so, strong breakouts through pretty key resistance levels here for the bears. Bulls taking over control, but now they're starting to lose a little bit of luster up into some of these resistance areas. If we're looking at our options are telling us 610 is going to be a pretty big resistance level for this week. We're also looking at 614 for the expected move on the upside and about 602 expected move to the downside. So expect it to stay within this box, about a 70% chance this week. Now, if we're looking at our puts, we've got some large put strikes sitting over here at 600. And so I don't think we're going to get much lower than 600 this week. In fact, I think it's going to be pretty tough to get below 602. That's about the expected move. It's also the 10 EMA. It's coming into this gap fill area, plus a very strong support. But if we do make it through 602, look for 600 to be a pretty nice bouncing spot to probably get bouncing up through the end of this year. This might be our last buy the dip opportunity before the Santa rally really wants to kick in, if it wants to. Now, if we start breaking and closing strongly up above these upper wicks that SPY has been putting in over the last few days, there's a chance that we are just going to go straight up to that 610 to 615 area pretty quickly. So put an alert up above the high of Friday. That's going to tell you quite a bit if these bulls decide to bounce up through that. Now, off to the Qs are going to be our next ticker that we're going to want to look at. And Qs have been just following this trend line so perfectly over the last few months. It's crazy, actually. So where would be a great buying spot again? Well, how about this trend line one more time? So if we do get a pullback back into the 20 EMA, feeling a couple of these gaps here on the Q, this would be a fantastic buy the dip opportunity for it to bounce up strong. And again, 510 is a pretty good put level sitting there. So that would mean they're going to want to hold this level and should be a pretty nice buying spot. If we start to break through 510, there could be some pretty good selling coming back into the finish this other gap here at like 492. I just don't see that happening. Pullbacks make sense, but bulls should be coming in to buy this dip. I am very much looking to buy the dip at this moment based on what the price action is telling me, right? I go, all right, we have a chance to look a little bit weak, and then the bulls continue to close strong, giving me that confirmation of, yes, dips are now being open to be bought. Whenever you get these strong closures, it's not telling you to buy up here. It's letting you know that the big money is now putting in their buy the dip orders down here. This is where you want to join with the big money, and that's what I'm looking at doing on the Qs. Will that happen this week? Maybe. Who knows? But if we do end up getting that dip, we do have a CPI and PPI this week. So that some inflation data is going to come out. That's going to move the markets. That could be the catalyst to finally get us selling just a little bit and then Santa rally to come through. If not, this will just keep on squeeze. And 530 is a pretty big call level. So I would imagine the market makers can do their best to hold it below 530. But realistically, I'm kind of looking more at like 535 to 540 this week on the upside on Qs if this wants to get moving. So far, there are no signs that the bears are trying to step in. And I would imagine we're at least going to make a new high for the starting of the week. And then we'll see if it wants to kind of blow off top, trap people up through here, and start to make back down. I am not a buyer up here, but if we can get a move back down in through here, it makes total sense for me to start looking to buy. Now, the real opportunity that I'm looking for this week is going to be on IWM. I think IWM is really setting up to make moves back up into 245 to 247 area. And I love this gap coming in to start the week. So we have an inside candle on Friday after a big bear candle on Thursday. And now we are gapping up and clearing the range of Friday. So we are doing something right now that the bulls could not do on Friday. The bulls could not get it up above, what is this here, 239.85, and now they are, right? We're gapping up above it. This is going to cause some pretty strong momentum to come in. I would say there's a 75% chance that we're going to see bull momentum here this week on IWM. So however you want to take advantage of that, that's up to you. For me personally, I will probably look at doing some sort of like a bull put spread down through here and see if I can't capture that quick move pretty easily with a high consistent rate. So that's what I'm after. Again, you could swing trade this bullish. You could do some day trades on some of this. Bulls should be pretty excited on this gap, and I would imagine we're going to get some decent moves up into the 244 to 247 area because that's the next place where bulls would be taking profit. So let this thing keep on cranking and get caught up to the rest of the markets. At the moment, Nvda is really having a big gap down. So we talked about last week how this should be the place where the bears go to and hold. They got squeezed out. And I drew a green line here and told the members in our swing trading community, by the way, if you want to come check out our community, it's just 25 bucks. That goes to $97 in January. You get free coaching through Zoom every single week. You get an awesome community and trades, analysis, and not to mention access to our extensive online course catalog where you can learn anything that you want to learn about trading. Well, in that community, I talked to our swing traders and I said, this should be about the area where the bears are going to try to step in if they're going to. And they did come through on Friday, and now we're getting a really nice gap back down. So Nvidia is looking like it wants to pull back into the 50. Ideally, it could be coming back down into like 134 area, and then it's going to need to hold because now we're setting up this left shoulder, head, right shoulder scenario. If this starts to play out, we could be having some pretty good pullbacks here on Nvidia. This is not good for the bulls, right? The first sign, the first warning was the fact that we did not make a new higher low through. This fell apart, and that was the first warning sign. That's why I even started looking at potential bear trades up through here, was because of that price action. Again, get your confirmation through the price action, not through the moves. You do not want to see Nvidia go all the way down to here and be like, oh, now it's bearish. It's like, no, price action up here before the move ever came told me it was bearish. Learn price action. Again, we have free courses on that and part of our community. So Nvidia should be coming back down into like this 136 to 130 range. The bulls will hold it and it'll go from there. That's the bear scenario. The bull scenario is going to be, you're going to have a lot of buyers off of the 50 EMA here on a daily chart, and we could possibly start moving its way back higher. I would not be very bullish on Nvidia unless we start getting daily closures above 146. So once you get that, this is where there's a higher probability that the bulls are actually going to take over and we'll get some sustained bull moves. The thing that trips people up a lot as well is you have to realize that you can get bull moves even though the bears are in control. Once you wrap your mind around that, things will start to change, because if the bulls start to rampage through here and they get it up into this range, everyone's like, oh, we're bullish now, time to buy it. And it's like, no, the bulls already broke trend. They already broke their support structure of a higher low, higher highs. Until we start making higher highs again and have higher lows, bulls are not in control. And so this bounce is still an opportunity for bears to short this and to rotate it back down. So keep an eye out for that. Learn price action. It'll change your trade. The next ticker that we're going to be talking about is Palantir. Oh my gosh. PLTR is just on an absolute rampage, and it's showing up on everybody's radar. I want you to know this. FOMO always kicks in and only focuses on the profits. Whenever someone sees the opportunity of profits, FOMO comes rolling on in, and that's where you get in trouble. You have to start thinking like a professional trader. Professional traders focus on the risk. They don't focus on the reward. The reward will take care of itself. The risk is what's going to keep you in business. How much am I going to lose if this trade doesn't work? There are no guarantees in the markets, my friends. It's just an edge. It's a 50% win rate. Well, if you're going to put your stop in the correct place on this, I would say the bulls are in control unless we start getting below 60. So our stop needs to go below 60 in this situation. If we were to get in on this trade right now, how much higher could this thing go? I don't know. But odds are it's about done soonish. It could go to the moon another billion%, but that's the unknown question mark. I don't have anything up here to show me how high this thing can go. Look how big my risk is. So if I want to make twice the amount that I'm risking, where you need to be at, I have to keep on to even get it there. Still going. Right there. That is my 2R risk reward. So this thing is going to have to make another 60% move in order for me to double the amount that I'm risking. What's the probability of that happening after the stock has already made a 143% move? It could happen, but you're dealing with low probabilities. As soon as everyone starts looking at the stock, it's too late. Again, you cannot use the movement to get your confirmation. You can't use this and go, oh, now it's bullish. It's like, no, you should have known that back over here. Know that back over there so that way you can be getting in, riding this move, and now you're exiting. All of this move, you're taking your profits instead of being like, oh, it's the time to get in. Now is the time to make money. This is a dangerous game. And then what other people do is they go, well, of course that's too big of a, so I'm just going to put my stop right here. Yeah, you could do that. But if it comes down, it's going to stop you out and then go, because the bears are not in control through here until we get below 60. A pullback will come, stop everyone out that chased it, and then go to targets. It's going to grab everyone's stop. So if that's happening to you a lot, it's because your stops are in the wrong place. You can't offset that completely, but you can minimize it a lot by simply putting your stops in the right place. So what's the better way to go about it? The better way would be to adjust your entry. If you just adjusted your entry, let's just say down to like $66, Tony, it'll never pull back then. And even if it does, it's too scary. It's bounced off this 10 EMA 1,000 times. Odds are we're probably going to pull back to the, look what happens to that exact same risk. You now go from a 2-to-1 to a 6-to-1 by simply not chasing my risk. Look how little it is compared to my reward instead of this. I don't know about you, but I would much rather risk this and make that than to risk this with a very low probability, because again, the odds of this thing not pulling back and just going to the moon, it can happen, but it's more like a lotto ticket. And that's the problem, is people keep treating trading like gambling. That's tough to say. You cannot be like the 90% if you want to make money in the markets. Let the 90% go out and do their crap, try to make their billions of dollars overnight, and just end up losing everything time and time again. And start thinking like the 10% and being willing to let money go and wait for your opportunity. And those are the ones that end up making. Think different, be different, my friend. Love you all. Thanks for being here. Hopefully this helped give you a better idea of what to do for this week. Now go follow your plan, control your emotions, and crush them all.